Hello there, we are glad that you're watching this clip, and today we just want to talk about 6 types of men you will always struggle with. In our several years of relationship counseling and marriage therapy, we have come across a common thread of certain personalities, certain types of men, and we have come to this fair conclusion that if you marry such men, your marriage might end up becoming a struggle. And as we look at these 6 types of men, push your emotions aside and look through these facts before you can commit yourself to them. Because they may look the part, they may sound the part, they may be handsome, they may be having the money, but if they fall under these 6 categories, chances are you will struggle in that relationship. No matter how big your wedding will be, no matter how much dowry will be paid for you, chances are if you marry these 6 types of men, you might end up struggling in your marriage. And what is the first type?
The first type is the violent man.
Oh yes.
Never settle for a violent man, even though he has many other things that you admire in his life.
Oh yes.
No matter how often he says sorry, you will struggle in a relationship with a violent man.
Always struggle.
Some of them have the audacity to hit you even before they marry you. Can you imagine? Before they marry you, the time when they should be, before marriage, in courtship, that's the time everybody puts their best foot forward.
Tries to be nice.
Tries to be nice. But some of them, anajaribu kuingisha box. So if they can hit you at that particular time, because some of them have the audacity to do that, just know that you will struggle in such a relationship. If he cannot manage his anger, he won't be able to manage his home.
Very true.
Get very concerned if he hits you, then tries to blame you for having pushed him to do so. We remember one time sitting in the office, listening to a story from this particular woman whose husband even wanted to
kill her. He was actually strangling her in the bathroom. He only managed to release one scream by chance.
She managed to.
And the neighbors came in to her rescue.
But if it was not for that, she would be dead by now. So just keep off from a violent man. The one that really raises up his voice, at times even attempts to hit you before you're even married. Be very careful with such a man. And they should never give any particular excuse. They should never blame you for it. They should never say they come from a family where they have anger issues.
Or you're the one who pushed them.
Yes. So never settle for that. Never agree. Keep off from a violent man. The Bible says in 1 Timothy 3:3 and Titus 1:7, it tells us about the traits of a good leader. I know it talks about bishops, but this is not just for bishops. It's talking about a person in authority. And even a home, that person must not be violent.
And I remember one such type of a man who even beat the mother-in-law. He kept beating the wife, and a day came when he beat up his mother-in-law. It doesn't seem to work. And the second type that you will always struggle with is the sucker. What we call the sucker. Not in the American sense, but someone who draws your virtue. This is the kind of man who continually sucks your strength, sucks your emotions, even your resources, without making any effort to reciprocate or replenish you. No matter how handsome he is, you will always struggle in your relationship with the sucker. And there are always telltale signs during courtship. If you go out for dates and he's the man, and conventionally he's meant to pay, but he never seems to be ready to pay for the dinner bill. I mean, you get into a matatu, you have to pay for him. Those are telltale signs of a sucker. And some of those people actually have money. It's just that they have this mentality that your money is our money, but my money is my money.
Some of them are misers.
Yes, and some of them are misers. And because you see, marriage is the big picture. If you cannot pay for the dinner bill, what about your children's school fees? What about buying land for the family? What about building the family home? And the third type that you will always struggle with
is the lazy or the irresponsible man. God, of course, is the ultimate provider.
Oh yes.
But he often uses the man as a channel to provide into the home. And many African men like the idea of being the king of the home, but they forget that one of the king's primary responsibilities is to provide.
Not just to back orders.
Yeah. So when God gave man the privilege of leading the family, he also gave him the mandate to provide for his family.
Oh yes.
And this is not God's opinion, but it is his command. When the husband is providing for the family, he should never think that he's doing his wife or his children a favor. That is a God-given mandate, God-given obligation that he should cheerfully fulfill. And matter of fact, as God's word says in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 8, it says, "But if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever." So you keep off from a lazy man or an irresponsible man. Every time he says, "I don't have money," he sits in the house, watches all the series, I'm waiting for God to give me a job. Please go out there, look for a job, do whatever it needs to do. You can even begin working, but it is your God-given responsibility. And this should begin not just when you are married, it should begin even before you get married.
Now, we are not being judgmental here,
Yeah.
but there is a difference between waiting on God and being plain lazy.
Yeah.
And this cliche of "I'm waiting on God" has been a major excuse among lazy and irresponsible churchgoers.
Yeah.
That I'm believing in God.
I'm waiting
on God.
What are you doing as you wait on God?
What are you doing as you wait on God?
Yeah.
Your faith should not be something abstract and amorphous, something that is not tangible. The author of James says, "Show me your faith without works, and I will show you my faith by what I do."
Yeah.
Faith is shown by what you do.
Yeah.
So there may be no jobs, but you can start selling sweets. You can sell sugarcane. You can sell, vegetables. You can hawk. There's something you can do.
Yeah.
And don't let your family suffer just because you're lazy.
Yeah.
And if you see those telltale signs of a young man who is always at home watching even Christian videos, they won't work. They're watching Christian videos, and I watch Christian videos. This is actually one of those videos. But you should not be watching this when you should be working.
Yeah.
If you see a young man who's always lazy and he is religious, his religion will not help you.
Yeah.
And the fourth type of a man that you will always struggle with is the undecided or the uncommitted man. I have watched in a lot of heartfelt emotion as a young woman loves a particular guy, gives herself wholly, prays for the guy, introduces the guy to the family, shows a lot of commitment, but the guy on the other side seems to be taking her for a ride.
Yeah.
Pity women who have given themselves totally to a man who doesn't even seem to care enough to reciprocate.
Yeah.
Because that is a sorry place to be. It doesn't matter how much you love him, forcing yourself on them will end up hurting you. So do yourself a favor, wake up and get out of here. You are willing to take him to your parents. He knows your relatives. You have shown him commitment. You're ready to get married. But they keep taking you out for dates. 1 year after the other. You're drinking coffee 3 years later. 5 years later. And this guy is never saying what he wants.
Yeah.
He's never popping the question.
Yeah.
7 years later, he's just taking you for a ride. He might be confused himself, or he might be doing that deliberately, waiting for an opportune moment to dump you and marry somebody 10 years younger than you are.
Wow, the next type of man is the man that doesn't believe in you. There are men who are personally ambitious go-getters, but they don't want their wives to achieve anything besides getting children for them. It doesn't matter how much you love such a man, as long as he does not believe in you or lift you up, your relationship will be a struggle. I've heard of men who says, no, man, I don't want my wife to work. I want you to stay at home, take care of the children, take care of the home. But your wife has a gift. Your wife has a purpose. She has an assignment in life. So beware of a man who does not want you to work, who does not want you to pursue your purpose, who does not want you to pursue your assignment in life, who does not want you to use the gift that God has given you, for the benefit of our generation. Be very careful about a man. He keeps on busting your bubbles. You have this great idea of a business, but he plays it down. Be careful of a man who does not believe in you.
Listen, you deserve to get married to somebody who believes in you.
Yeah.
So do yourself a favor and find out, this man I'm getting married to, does he believe in me? Where do I fit in his scheme of things? Where do I fit in his plan? What does he think about me?
Yeah.
There are telltale signs. A good young man who wants to marry you will not have any problem, helping you get a job, helping you further your studies,
giving you capital to do a business.
Yeah. But if he just wants you to stay at home and not fulfill your dreams, your marriage will be a struggle even 20 years from now.
Yeah.
And the final example we have for now is the cheater. I don't mean the animal like lion, gazelle, cheetah, but somebody who cheats on you.
Yeah.
No matter how much you love a cheater, you will always struggle in your relationship with him.
Yeah.
And never accept to be falsely blamed for his cheating. Because some of them cheat and then they blame their spouses. I wasn't getting enough at home. Because at times they're just struggling with lust.
Yeah.
And no amount of sexual intimacy can fulfill lust.
True.
And some women think they can use their sexuality to keep the cheater or to tame him. I will discover new styles and new ways of taming him, of keeping him at home.
Yeah.
Whether the man wants to cheat on you or with you, that's a man you will struggle to relate with.
Yeah.
And that's a warning. If that guy has a relationship going on and he wants to cheat on that other woman with you, that's a red flag. Because if he can cheat with you, he will cheat on you. And don't complain later on when you get married with such a cheater that he cheats on you. But listen, remember, he left another woman for you. What makes you think you're better than the other woman?
That he will be faithful to you.
What makes you, that's a character issue. So whether the man wants to cheat on you with you, that's a man you will struggle to relate with. And listen, injecting sex into a relationship that has no covenantal basis turns sexual favors into a tool. What do we mean by that? There may be a woman who can reluctantly admit that she had sex to gain commitment from a man. I had sex with him so he could marry me. She even enjoyed the process. Sex was different back then. It was exciting, it was forbidden, and it had a purpose. It was something she used to gain a sense of control in the relationship. You hooked him with sex. That's why they're called hookers. You use sex as a tool to get him into your life, to get him into marrying you. But after marriage though, the story takes a different turn. Sex still seems like a tool, only now she feels like the one being used. Remember, again, if he can cheat with you, he can cheat on you because you taught him that stealing sex is okay. If he's currently in a relationship but sleeping with you, you're telling him that it's okay to steal sex. So if he eventually marries you, he will continue cheating on you because you taught him it is okay to steal sex. And by the way, when you sleep with a man that has not taken responsibility over your life, you are stunting his growth. What do we mean by that? You're teaching him that you can enjoy goodies without being responsible. And that's why even after marriage, he can end up being a reckless married man who does not take responsibility of his own because he's thinking from the beginning this was just about sex. It was not about me bettering your life. It was not about me raising up a family. It was just about sex. That's why you should be careful not to introduce sex into your relationship before it's time. Because sex is so powerful, it has the same intoxicating effect as liquor. So that imagine you are drinking before going to vote on a voting day, You look at the list of the candidates vying for presidency, and you're like, oh, they all look alike, to you, because your faculty of judgment has been affected by the liquor. You end up confusing who you wanted to vote for. That's the same thing that happens when you introduce sex into a relationship before time. It affects your judgment. You no longer know clearly, do I love this person or not? Is this love or lust? Does this guy really treat me well? Sex can be intoxicating. So keep sex outside the equation until the appropriate time. And remember, men who sleep around with many women, they may feel macho, they may feel like they're on top of the world, but you're not on top of the world. You are just on top of a bed. And this is what happens. Sex limits you to the four corners of a bed, while God created you to conquer the four corners of the world.
That's powerful.
And men who jump from one woman after another, they feel macho, they feel powerful, but deep within themselves,
they're empty.
They are empty. They know they are weak. A true strong man remains faithful to one woman. Remains committed to one woman. But when you have an array of many women, you are actually escaping responsibility. None of those women can account for your effectiveness. But you stay with one woman for many years, as long as you live, and heaven will acknowledge that as something dignified. The good Lord bless you and keep you.
Amen.
When you come across these 6 types of men, may the red flag go up. Listen, if you insist on marrying them, as we have seen some insisting on marrying them, you may get married, you may have a big pompous wedding with a lot of rice and a lot of guests, but listen, you will live to struggle with them.
Amen.
God bless you.
Amen. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe to this video and keep looking out for more of such tips.
Thank you.